best-of-7 first-round matchup between the Pacers and the Bucks. Starting lineup, Gary Trent Jr.'s game 3, or is it more Indiana? Here we go. Controls, getting booed in his home state.
Absolutely, he is being welcomed by the Bucks fans here as the road enemy in this game.
Nembhard gives it up. Turner attacks the closeout. Turner with his own left.
Okay. And what Doc's not going to challenge it, so maybe he's agreeing with you.
And Turner hits both free throws. I mean, significant because an early personal on Giannis.
Well, and that's why I was thinking you might see the earliest challenge of all time, simply because each and every foul for Giannis is going to be valuable to make sure you keep him in game action. And from his team, because it takes away the aggressiveness of those bigs, and you see the easy bucket from Siakam in the paint.
And this is exactly what Milwaukee's been focused on, getting off to a faster start. Lopez can't hit the 3, rebound volley in game 1.
A wire-to-wire win in game 2. The Bucks have only led for 1 minute and 43 seconds in 2 games of this series.
Nembhard can't hit the 3, and Adetokounmpo able to secure the weak side rebound. Here comes Giannis, who's been terrific through the first 2 games. Off one leg,
But Ryan, here's one of the things you got to consider. With Giannis picking up that foul early, one thing you always have to remember with Giannis, he's goal. Okay, there you go.
Such a great point, though, Corey, especially for a guy who's had at least 25 in the paint in each of the first 2 games of this series. Talking about Giannis. Here's Nembhard. Draws 2, out to Turner, 3 to shoot. Turner drives in. That time to finish it. Oh, we showed the numbers in the open, but they're worth repeating. Giannis, as he misses the free throw, player ever to average 35 points, 15 rebounds on 65% shooting in the first 2 games of a playoff series.
Yeah, I sold him short. I said 60. It's actually 65. You can't sell him as that guy short when he's shooting that well from the field. Great defense by Dame.
Yeah, came back for the steal. Kuzma.
Concerned with Giannis in transition, but now the entire front line of the Bucks has 1 foul to start this game.
Yes. Here's Halliburton. Into the corner, Nembhard. Turner will pop. Can't hit. Rebound, Trent. Adetokounmpo. Draws 2. Trent will fire. And hit from 3.
A necessary bucket for so many reasons. Also a lead for the Milwaukee Bucks for the first time in 2 full games.
Last time they led, it was 8-7 at the start of game 1. Siakam can't dump it in. Adetokounmpo. 7 straight for Milwaukee. Kuzma slicing. Left it short. Indiana on the move. Nembhard able to reverse it in and beat Lillard down the floor.
And a great job keeping your head up, allowing Nembhard to get the easy one, but Gary Trent Jr. missing on the other end of the floor, angled him off, not allowing him to make that extra pass to the corner.
Good movement here. Nesmith will fire. In and out. Rebound banged around. Nesmith flags it down. Little push jumper is good. And one of the things Rick Carlisle talked to us about before the game was wanting to make sure Indiana keeps its pace up all game long. You know they are going to try. Wow, what a careless turnover there. Kyle.
In game 2, and that's one of the areas of concern for Doc Rivers, is make sure they get quality looks, especially considering they shot so well from the field in game 1.
Nesmith rims out. Turner the offensive rebound. Lost the handle, threw it away. Here comes Trent. Trent waits and finishes. Trent completes the 3-point play. A 10-8 lead for Milwaukee. 4 minutes into the first quarter of game 3. Indiana a 2-0 series lead. Nesmith got that one. That's a 3rd straight wide open look that was created by Halliburton for Nesmith.
And Nesmith found his offense in game 2. It was up to 16 points for him, but was 4 of 5 from beyond the 3-point arc.
Kuzma gets denied by Halliburton.
And nothing, how about the bench of the Pacers getting up off the bench and celebrating the block from Halliburton doing the job defensively?
After it looked like Kuzma had outstanding position, caught that deep. Adetokounmpo ranges to the rim.
And because Siakam picked up that foul in an earlier possession, he couldn't give but so much resistance to Giannis of getting downhill.
Halliburton into the teeth of the D. Back out. Guarded by Kuzma. Halliburton pulls and knocks it down from way deep.
And not only did he knock it down, he knocked it down over Dame. So he gave us a quick glance to make sure we saw who he made the shot over.
Tyrese Halliburton has talked about how fun the extracurriculars of this series are. Here's Trent. He got it. Another for Gary Trent Jr. having a big first. Quickly down the other end, Siakam blast to the bucket off the dish from Halliburton.
That's the pace Rick Carlisle was talking about, even after a made shot, continuing to be aggressive.
Back to his fullest form, because it was just Sunday this last week that he was able to go up and down the court.
Unselfish in that play. Probably should have taken the shot, but looking to give Giannis an opportunity. Gets him to the free throw line, and more importantly, a three-point play. Giannis completing it. That free throw means a lot more to some people than others.
First foul on Turner.
Doc Rivers up talking with Mark Davis about the screen on Dame, and that possession didn't like it.
Obi Toppin can't hit the three. Another good look. Here comes Trent back to Lillard. Bobby Portis in along with A.J. Green off the bench. Adetokounmpo, center of the lane for the slam.
And Rick
in the quarter already is 5 of 5 from the floor. By the way, they took 1 point off the board for Milwaukee on a Gary Trent. Looked like it was a 3. It was changed to a 2. 19-16 Bucks lead. Much better start for the Bucks here in Game 3 in the first quarter after problematic opening quarters in the first 2, as McConnell did the hard work, just blew the bunny. Here's Adetokounmpo storming in again, couldn't finish it. Thomas Bryant to factor defensively. Neesmith finds Bryant. Halliburton gives it up. Out there with McConnell, Porter, Bryant, and Neesmith. Toppin got grabbed on the jersey, Giannis, but he did not after the
contact.
Yeah.
You don't have a choice but to call the jersey grab. It's out here in the middle of in plain sight. You have to make that call.
And that's why they gave him the continuation. Portis. No. Bobby Portis had a big game, too. Almost brought Milwaukee all the way back from down 15 midway through the fourth. Halliburton to the corner. Toppin can't hit. Indiana getting some good looks from deep, but just 2 of 9 in the early going. Portis, by the way, at 28 in game 2 as Toppin comes up with his numbers historically good. A finalist for MVP again this season. As we take a look at
the best of them in game 1 and game 2, they showed up, and now you can see it's an absolute series, and possibly no Jimmy Butler tomorrow night.
Yeah,
it's a huge factor for the Warriors.
Massive factor. Adetokounmpo has 13 in the quarter. Here's Mathurin in off the bench for Indiana.
Zone defensively by the Bucks right now, trying to protect Giannis. Make sure that he doesn't pick up that 3rd foul.
Halliburton, difficult step back is off. And we've seen teams zone up against the Pacers bench a lot this season. Milwaukee has done it as well. Prince in and out. Siakam the rebound. And a whistle. Milwaukee has won his minutes in each of the first 2 games. Halliburton, no look. Mathurin will fire. No.
These are all shots that were going down for the Pacers at home, and that's one of the things you always consider, the role players, how well they play on the road and how much of a factor that becomes.
Portis fading off. Rebound volleyed around into the lap of McConnell. Springing ahead. The crossover dish. Mathurin going to attack this time and finish at the cup.
And that's one of the areas where Doc Rivers would prefer to make them finish at the rim in comparison to see them spray it out for the threes that they've gotten throughout this series thus far.
Porter backs away. Floats to the corner. Prince thought about it. Porter, 5 to shoot. Gives it up.
Long way to go.
As you move forward, the energy in here.
As I said, long way to go. Tough game, tough environment.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Well, thank you, Monica. Thank you, Rick Carlisle. You saw the difference in first quarter scoring for Indiana tonight compared to game 2 when they put up 40. They held to 26 tonight as Green short on that 3. Siakam scrapes up the rebound. Halliburton starts the second on the bench. Siakam connects on a 3.
He's been so consistent for the Pacers since coming over in the trade. This is his second full playoff season. And Rick Carlisle talked about just how consistent he is. You know what you're going to get from him each and every time you step on the floor.
Been outstanding in this series. Lillard, great look. Giannis has 2 for Milwaukee. Only player in this game with 2 personals. Here is McConnell. Indiana up 1 in game 3 with a 2-0 series lead. Mathurin. Pull up 3. Way off.
And this is an area of concern for the Pacers when you consider that they are a negative 25 in points per 100 possessions as Dame goes to the step back.
The offense in the league to the worst offense in the league.
And a lot of it has to do with the pick and roll coverage. Look at the way that the Bucks are able to defend pick and roll.
Siakam off the inbound, couldn't finish. Look at Bryant using the wingspan. Right back to Siakam.
Wait, did you see Jericho Sims put his head over the rim? If Dame didn't get that block.
Meanwhile, Siakam Siakam rims out on the free throw. He has 9 points, 3 rebounds in this first half. Here's Porter. Lillard will take. Way off.
Just couldn't get on balance after the pump fake.
Trent can. Still can't hit.
But great to see Trent back on the floor. Monica reporting on that left shin. You see bandaged now.
McConnell leaves it short. Milwaukee, meanwhile, is 3 of 18 from the floor since Giannis went to the bench.
On the bench.
Halliburton still sitting for Indiana, just his normal rotation here at the start of the second. Portis, patient and effective.
Always a good option when you don't have Giannis to be able to get the basketball in the hands of BP. He normally delivers.
Here's Siakam again as that matchup on Dame. Draws 2 into the corner. Not really McConnell's game, and he's fouled by Trent.
Porter on McConnell. Ask him to shoot that. Dare him to knock one down. You maybe retreat out there a little more quickly if he makes one, but at first you force him to shoot that.
Siakam, Mathurin, fakes the 3, slides in and finishes. Benedict Mathurin having himself a half. 9 points now off the bench.
And he's been a bonus, and that's really a strength of this Pacers team. It's their depth. They have guys like Mathurin coming off the bench, Obi Toppin, a number of bench guys who've already had 30-point games on the season.
And they, up until this point, they've played their full 10-man rotation in this series, with everyone having effective minutes as Portis again finds an angle.
And they continue to play through Portis on the offensive end of the floor with Giannis on the bench.
Smith getting ready to check in for Indiana. Turner, Siakam, McConnell, Mathurin, and Nembhard there for the Pacers. Lillard, Portis, Lopez, Trent, and Kuzma for Milwaukee.
It comes into play later in this game.
Halliburton back in. Milwaukee already in the bonus here in this second as Portis can't hit. Turner and Mathurin couldn't decide who was going to grab the rebound.
That always goes to Turner. The big guy gets the rebound. That's the way that works.
Halliburton. Wow. Why? Lillard. No. Turner the rebound. Here's Halliburton, who has looked anything but overrated the first 2 games of this series. Heard those chants from the crowd.
And you're going to have to give more context on that one now. That was ease.
An athletic poll that had him voted as the most overrated player in the league. A flawed poll. One that Rick Carlisle certainly didn't like.
Yes.
Lopez a deep 3. That one's way off as well.
Percentage during the regular season over 38%. So it's a weapon that they have to be successful.
Here's Nembhard. Giannis back in. Trent harassing.
See Giannis back in the zone once again defensively for the Bucks.
Nesmith able to find a little pocket and take advantage.
How about Obi Toppin along the baseline, though, with great catch and the drop-off for Nesmith to get the bucket in the paint.
Using those incredible hops.
Yes.
Snare that one.
The bunnies.
Adetokumbo forcing his way in. Lopez alone. Off again. And Milwaukee now 2 for 17.
But Milwaukee getting great looks. And Lopez with 2 really good looks in the last 2 possessions. Just got to knock him down.
Halliburton skating, dishing, Toppin, out to Turner. One more in the corner. Nemhard can't hit. Milwaukee now 3, making Indiana now 3 of 18.
But Indiana doing a great job of putting the Bucks in rotation, forcing them to have to guard multiple actions and getting quality looks. Rick Carlisle will take those.
Lopez eyes the shot clock, 8 on it. Kuzma plows ahead and finishes.
Encouraging bucket aim on the bench as the Bucks go back to that zone defensively.
Indiana finally getting one to drop from deep. They're 4 of 19 as a team. Nesmith, to your point, Corey, has 2 of those 4 on 4 attempts.
How about Doc Rivers having Kyle Kuzma initiating offense? Talked about he only held onto the ball for 50 seconds in game 1.
Kuzma got that one.
But it's small things. So you go out, you take Dame out of the game. Doc Rivers goes in the huddle and says, Kyle, I want you to initiate. You run it. Just by having the basketball in his hands, build some confidence.
Trent off the steal. Trent racing in, gets...
Encouraging him, saying, hey, listen, we need to put the ball in your...
We need him to be a lot better on that end, but scorers need to score in order to fully engage on that end.
Absolutely, and you've done more than enough basketball to understand that you feel much better about defending when you get the ball in your hands sometimes, and you have an opportunity to have an impact on that end of the floor.
Halliburton bounces. Nesmith will fire and hit again. He has 3 of Indiana's 5 made threes in this half. Adetokumbo crumples to the floor, lost it, and distributor, a facilitator. You'd rather try and make him a scorer, but guess what? He's facilitating again, 6 assists already in the half.
And they're a much better team when he is facilitating, when everyone is getting their opportunities on the offensive end. If you force Halliburton to just be a scorer, that's not the way that he wants to play.
Halliburton can do that as well.
Even though he has the ability to be able to do it, to take big shots, make big shots, but he likes to do that in the midst of runs, and now they've built their biggest lead of the game.
In a corner, Kuzma, not that time. Here comes Halliburton with some pace in his gait. Halliburton, quick first step, leaves it for Nesmith. Nesmith drops it in. It's a